the truth about cheat meals. Now, most people think cheat meals help them stay consistent, but I have coached hundreds of people, and cheat meals are one of the biggest reasons people stay fat, frustrated, and stuck at their current body weight. Not because they're weak, but because the strategy itself is broken. Now, today I'm going to break down why cheat meals actually make cravings even worse, why most bodybuilding diets are nutritionally trash, and how fixing just these two things alone can help unlock fat loss, muscle growth, and more importantly, your sanity. So, like I said, I've coached hundreds of busy men who have lost 30 to 50 pounds, all without cutting out the foods they love. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why cheat meals and low quality, clean bulking foods are silently sabotaging your results. So we're going to cover just these two mistakes only: cheat meals and then also poor diet quality. So there's going to be no fluff here, no dogma, just actually what works based on the science, based on my own personal experience, and then also based on the 100 of clients that have actually helped transform their bodies. So starting with point number one, cheat meals are making you worse at dieting. Most people believe that cheat meals improve their adherence to their diet. They think that it gives you something to look forward to and helps you stay sane. And all of these points most definitely do sound logical. It definitely makes sense. But research and real world results show, unfortunately, the exact opposite. So studies on dietary restraint show that highly inconsistent eating patterns are linked to worse long-term fat loss, more binging behavior, stronger cravings, and higher relapse rates. There's also strong evidence suggesting that framing food as either good or bad, or as clean versus cheat, or just like labeling food as a certain way, creates what psychologists would often say is an all or nothing type of mindset, meaning that you're perfect until you're not. Then you say screw it and you overeat. Now, that is not discipline. That is a rebound waiting to happen. And I can attest to this because last year when I went on vacation during Mexico, I kind of had this mindset where, yeah, I would start off the day with a healthy breakfast, but then it wasn't an all-you-can-eat exclusive resorts. And then around lunchtime, they were giving out like these tacos in Mexico. And I had a couple tacos, and because it wasn't really part of my initial plan for that day, I'm like, okay, well, I already had some tacos today. Let me just have a higher calorie lunch afterwards. And then for dinner, it was kind of like this all you can eat feast as well. And it just kind of like shows you how like this one small little bad meal or this one small little bad snack can actually lead you to breaking this perfectionist mindset and opening up the floodgates, telling yourself this story in your mind that, okay, because I am no longer perfect today, it means that for the rest of the day, I can no longer be perfect. So I might as well indulge in a lot more food than I had anticipated to, right? And this exact mindset is why so many people stay stuck. It's why I stayed stuck as well, because once again, I would start my day off nice and strong. I'd have it in the discipline where I would just keep my breakfast super clean. I'd have maybe some eggs, egg whites, an omelet, some veggies, just some protein, healthy fats, and vegetables, right? I'd feel amazing. I'd maybe crush a workout after or do some cardio. But then maybe when lunch came around and I was in this situation where, yeah, I just happened to maybe eat a higher calorie or hyper palatable, more junk, more processed lunch, it kind of like told myself that, hey, because you just had this unhealthy meal, it means that, okay, you're no longer perfect today. So you might as well have another unhealthy meal for dinner. And then you might as well have a dessert. And then guess what happens for a lot of people? They wake up the next morning, they're slightly bloated, they're a bit demotivated. They go downstairs to the all-you-can-eat buffet once again. They see the pancakes, they see the waffles, they see the muffins, they see what other people are eating, they see the maple syrup, and they're like, damn, because yesterday wasn't perfect, I might as well make this a 2-day imperfect kind of like thing, right? And that'll lead you to having an unhealthy breakfast, and then another unhealthy lunch, and then another high-calorie dinner. And then before you know it, your entire weekend, you just blew thousands of extra calories. And because you blew it that weekend, you're like, okay, because last weekend wasn't the best, let me just turn this entire week into like a cheat week because I wasn't perfect. But if you just allow yourself to not be perfect all the time and just accept the fact that not every single meal you eat is going to be 100% necessarily clean, does not mean that you should completely throw your diet out of the window, throw it in the trash, and just completely binge on your diet. It does not mean any of that. Yet, we so often have this perfectionist mindset when it comes to our diet and say, just because I had this one cookie, my entire day is ruined. And so I might as well turn this entire day into a cheat day. But if you can stop yourself at that one cookie and say, okay, it is what it is. This day will no longer be perfect, but I can still very easily make the next meal a healthy meal, and I can probably still hit my calories and macros for the day. You are going to be successful. And this is what our clients do all the time who actually succeed. This is why I'm able to go to Hawaii, to go to Mexico, to go to all these other exotic places where food is around, where I get to travel, or get to do all these things while still maintaining six-pack abs. It's not because I am perfect. I'm far from perfect. I eat like when I went to Hawaii, I had poke bowls every day. I had acai bowls. We had sushi. We had sashimi, all delicious food. But I was still able to maintain my health. I was still able to pretty much, like, I actually lost weight during vacation because we were so active, but then also more importantly, because I kept my diet in check. Not because I was eating clean food all the time. It was because I actually ate, like, honestly what I wanted at least once a day, every single day. But I kept my breakfast nice and healthy. I kept my snacks nice and healthy. I kept my protein intake nice and high. I still ate my fruits and my veggies. I was still very, very active. I got like 20,000 steps in. We went on a bunch of hikes every single day. We crushed workouts. I got 20,000 steps. We did a bunch of hikes. We were physically active, and I was still able to maintain my current body weight, maintain my six-pack abs while eating the foods I loved. And I wasn't perfect, far from it. Hopefully you guys can kind of understand why this perfectionist mindset is holding you back right now. Look at any elite athlete, any elite coach. I can guarantee you, they may show one side of them in terms of, hey, I'm eating clean, I'm doing my workouts. But there's another side of them as well where they maybe fall off track. But then you look at them, it's like, wow, well, how are you able to look that way if you constantly eat a cheat meal, if you constantly eat these foods that are maybe slightly more processed or a bit more junky? Well, it's because they don't let one bad meal or one bad snack derail them from getting back on track again, which a lot of amateurs do. Amateurs let one bad meal turn into a cheat meal, cheat day, cheat weekend, cheat week. Whereas the pros, the elites who you see stay in shape year round, do not. They do the opposite. They still indulge. They still eat their favorite foods from time to time in moderation. But guess what they do after that meal? They go right back on track again. And they don't punish themselves. They don't go on restrictive diets afterwards. They just go back to their regular eating habits, back to their regular foods, back to their regular workouts, to regular cardio, and they just, move on with life. And if you can do that, if you can get out of this perfectionist mindset, I guarantee you, you will be successful during your fat loss phase, during your diet. So here's what happens in the brain when you label food as good as or as bad. When you label foods as cheats, you start to glorify them and you attach them to dopamine and reward, and you train your brain to crave them even more. Now, this is backed by research and reward pathways and taste adaptation. Now, people who regularly indulge in hyperpalatable foods tend to crave them more often and not less. And they enjoy whole foods less over time, because if you're constantly eating junk food, you're constantly reminded of what it tastes like, right? And so you're naturally constantly going to be craving it. And naturally, as you keep on doing that, your enjoyment for eating whole foods, like the fruits, vegetables, oatmeal, whole grains, lean proteins, starts to diminish over time. Your taste buds adapt to what you eat the most. So that is why the guy eating pancakes every Sunday thinks about pancakes all week long. And vegetables to this guy taste boring by comparison. And that is normal, right? Like if you were to compare pancakes with vegetables, of course, pancakes are going to taste a whole lot better, right? Versus vegetables. And like if you're constantly eating pancakes on a Sunday, right? Let's say every single Sunday you go throughout the week and tell yourself, okay, I got to stay dialed in Monday through Saturday, but then on Sunday, it's pancake day. I got to eat all the pancakes. I got to eat all the waffles. not only are you going to be only looking forward to that day, which is kind of a weird existence, like you really should not be living life just to go through the days looking forward to eating a meal. Like if you want pancakes, then by all means, just like have a little bit of it. But if you wait for a specific day to go all in on these pancakes, it starts to create this really weird and almost like bad relationship with food, because now you start to label it as something that's like sacred, and it's like glorified, right? It's like, oh my goodness, I cannot wait until this Sunday. It's like, okay, well, what's happening? Is there a wedding going on? Are you going to like an event? Like what's going on? Like, no, you don't get it. It's pancake day. I got to eat pancakes on a Sunday. What? Like if you tell it to any stranger on the street, they're going to call you a weirdo, a psychopath, because that's not normal. That's a bit weird, right? And so I have personally seen this pattern hundreds of times where clients who came in doing like they were perfect Monday through Friday, but then on the weekends it was just absolute chaos, and they always struggled, right? Because Monday through Friday they were on top of it, they were good to go, but then on the weekends, when the weekends came around, they just completely neglected their diet and just went all in. They went ham. Once again, going back to this perfectionist mindset. Now, the ones who made the biggest progress are the ones who just ate consistently, included foods they enjoyed without labeling them as good or as bad, and they stopped planning binges in advance. Like one sign, which I definitely did during my bodybuilding prep. I've done 3 bodybuilding shows, and every single time I go through prep, I just get really food focused, because obviously you're specifically depriving yourself of food. So you tend to do all these like weird things with food. And yeah, it's definitely common to get into like eating disorders and just like, yeah, do a lot of weird things when it comes to food. But one thing I noticed for myself is that I would start to like plan certain foods around the day. Like it's really common for bodybuilders to kind of like plan binges in advance, where, yeah, similar to the whole pancake Sunday day. It's like, okay, on Saturdays, I get to eat all you can eat sushi. And all throughout the week, you're depriving yourself and you're just looking forward to this one specific day. And that is not a healthy relationship to be in with food. Like having pre-planned days where you binge on your diet is not a healthy spot to be at, like at all, because you're going to constantly be thinking about it. You're going to be glorifying those days. And then guess what? Once that day ends, you're back to feeling like, oh crap, now this is over. You have nothing to look forward to anymore. And now you go throughout the entire week feeling a bit sad, feeling a bit down on yourself, only to look forward to the following week again when you get to do it all over again. And that existence is not a fun or fulfilled life to live, just constantly having to think about food all the time. And I can tell you from experience, like it's not really pleasant. Like I'm at a healthy spot right now where I'm incorporating all the foods I love into my daily diets. Like I get to eat my oatmeal, get to eat my protein sludge, my blueberries, my apples, my almond butter, my chicken breast, my stir fries. And I love every single meal that I eat, where I don't really feel the urge to pre-plan a cheat meal or to pre-plan a binge or anything like that, because I incorporate the foods I love into my diet every single day. So there's not a day that goes by where I feel restrictive or where I feel like I need something, because if I'm hungry, if I want something, I'm going to eat it. And because I mostly eat whole natural single ingredient foods, guess what my cravings are most of the time? Whole natural single ingredient foods. So my cravings, not to flex, not like this is a flex or anything, but like last night, I was craving apples. So I just had like 3 apples. I dipped it in some like protein sludge. It was delicious. And that satisfied my cravings. Still hit my macros, and I'm still aligned with my fitness goals. You crave the food you eat the most. I say this all the time, but I think sometimes we just need to be reminded more than we need to be taught. So if you can start eating more whole foods, not only will you crave more of those whole foods, you also start to crave less of the processed junk food, because it's one of these things where you don't even remember what it tastes like. Like I'm trying to think right now, like when I think of pizza, yes, I love pizza, but I haven't had it in so long where it's not really top of mind for me anymore. And I kind of forgot what it tasted like. And so if I'm really hungry, and I had numerous occasions where I could indulge in pizza, I was like, no thanks. Like I'm not really craving this. I don't really want this. I'd rather have like a poke bowl with some, literally it was just like white rice with some seaweed salad and like raw fish, like tuna. And it was marinated in this really amazing soy sauce. They had like different flavors, and I had some salmon poke too. That makes my mouth water. That was delicious. Same thing with the acai bowls. Like we went to this breakfast spot. There was like all these high calorie pancakes, waffles, fried chicken, all these things. But I'm like, that acai bowl looks delicious. It's got lots of fruits, lots of natural sugar, lots of fiber too, some healthy fats in the form of granola. I added some protein powder on top to add more protein to it. It was the best thing ever. It was so good. So going back to what I was talking about, the ones who made the biggest progress inside of our program are the ones who once again ate consistently, included foods they enjoyed without labeling them, and stopped planning binges in advance. Now, once cheat meals were removed from their diets, guess what happened? Their cravings dropped, their control improved, and their fat loss became automatic. Not because they ate less food, but because they stopped fighting against their own psychology. So here is the better approach that I want you to start utilizing right away. Instead of cheat meals, build a diet you can repeat daily, which means including foods you enjoy within structure. So within your total calories and macronutrient goals for the day, just include the food you love. So let's say your goal is to eat 2,000 calories and you have a certain amount of protein you got to eat, a certain amount of carbs and fats you got to eat. You can very easily fit within reason whatever you want into that. Of course, you cannot eat like an entire box of cookies or an entire pie of pizza, but you can maybe have a slice. You can maybe have one serving size, right? And if you do that, you'll create a much better relationship with food, because now you won't be labeling them as good or as bad, because now you just have it in moderation. And because now you're having it in moderation, you stop to glorify certain foods because you pretty much have it as often as you'd like, basically. But the mindset that I also kind of want you guys to have here is that you'll start to soon realize that more of these processed foods, for example, like an Oreo, I don't really eat Oreos because I don't like the taste. Like, of course, everyone loves Oreos, but it's not really worth it to me. And here's what I mean by that. The amount of calories you get for the little amount of food you get for Oreos or for honestly, any processed foods, it's just so minimal and so little, where I would rather take the exact same amount of calories from that Oreo and substitute that for, I can literally eat a massive bowl of oatmeal with protein powder and berries, maybe even drizzle some peanut butter on top for the exact same amount of calories, but I get this massive, huge bowl, which still satisfies my hunger, satisfies my cravings, satisfies my sweet tooth. But I get a bunch more micronutrients, a bunch more fiber, better macros, and it's a lot more filling. And I would so much rather have that than having like maybe one or two small little Oreos. And if you weigh out your options like that in terms of like, okay, just because I can eat Oreos, is it like, are the calories actually worth it? And if you look at the opportunity cost, because I guarantee you, once you're done eating those two Oreos, you're not going to be satisfied, and you're going to be even hungrier afterwards, and it's going to trigger a response in your body to make you want to eat even more. Whereas if you replace that exact same amount of calories for a bowl of oatmeal with berries and protein powder and peanut butter, you're going to feel a lot more satiated. You're going to feel satisfied. You're still going to hit your sweet tooth. And it's not like you're going to be wanting even more after that. It's like, I've never heard anyone say to me that they binged on their diet by eating numerous bowls of oatmeal. Like, it just doesn't happen. Oatmeal is so filling. I just got done eating oatmeal. I crushed my workout, just got done eating oatmeal. I'm satisfied. I'm good. I'm going to be good for the next couple of hours, right? Whereas if I were to substitute that for cookies or more processed foods, I probably would not be doing this live call right now, because I'd still be eating. I'd still be hungry. I'd be like, oh my goodness, this is so good. I'm not even full. I'm even hungrier now afterwards. It's almost like an appetizer. The reason why restaurants have appetizers is to make you want to eat even more. And especially, they make the appetizers very tasty. It's also the reason why they have bread at most pasta places, right? Because by eating the bread, it almost just like doesn't really fill you up as much, but it just kind of like makes you want to eat even more. It's like now you're excited for the main course. So choose your calories wisely. Now, if you want pizza occasionally, eat the pizza, make sure you track it, obviously make sure it fits within your macros, and then move on. So with this mindset, there's no earning it, there's no punishment cardio, and there's no emotional attachments to food. That leads me on to point number 2, why most bodybuilding diets are nutritionally broken. Now, a lot of people think eating like a bodybuilder means chicken, white rice, and protein shakes. It looks clean and it looks disciplined, right? It's like you see all the bodybuilders eat clean food, but when it comes to the actual nutritional value of that food, it is often terrible because multiple studies show strength athletes and bodybuilders are commonly deficient in magnesium, in zinc, in iron, and calcium. And these deficiencies are linked to poor recovery, lower performance, higher fatigue, increased hunger, and worse mood and irritability. And here's the kicker. Active people actually need more macronutrients and not less. And so why are bodybuilders eating these, like white rice, for example? Like, yes, it is very easy to digest, but they're low in fiber and low in nutrient density. And especially white rice. Like, I have a big issue with white rice, not because white rice is inherently bad, because going back to what I said earlier, there's no food, or we should not be labeling food as good as bad. But back to what I said earlier, it's like just for the amount of calories you get per serving and the amount of fullness you get from it, it's just not worth it to me. Because white rice, the reason why it is popular is because you can eat large portions of it, right? It's very easy on digestion and it doesn't cause bloating. But once again, nutritionally, it's basically refined carbs with very little payoff. And now if you were to compare white rice, which again, a lot of people who I talk to, they're trying to lose weight and not gain weight. If you're trying to gain weight, white rice is awesome because you can eat a whole lot of it without it really feeling full. So you can absolutely just pound it. But if you're trying to lose weight, your goal should be to be in a calorie deficit. And when you're in a calorie deficit, you really should not be eating foods that don't make you hungry. That's not a good usage of your calories. And if you compare white rice to foods like potatoes, specifically russet potatoes that are boiled, I eat those every single day. They're awesome. Fruits, vegetables, legumes, they provide a whole lot more fiber, a whole lot more macronutrients, and higher satiety, meaning that you'll stay fuller for longer, you'll have better recovery, and you'll perform a whole lot better as well. So personally, I used to eat the stereotypical bodybuilding diets back in university when I was a college athlete playing soccer. Now, my calories were on point, but I did notice that my energy kind of sucked, my digestion kind of sucked, and my recovery sucked. Now, when I shifted towards eating a bit more fruits, a bit more vegetables as carb sources, higher potassium, magnesium, and fiber intake, and less ultra-refined food, my training performance definitely improved. My hunger most definitely stabilized. My body composition, so the way I actually looked, improved with the same calories, but it was just like much better food quality because I was able to stick within my calories a lot easier because I was eating the fiber, I was eating the micronutrients, I was feeling better, I was recovering better, I was able to put more effort into my workouts, I was able to sleep better, all these other amazing things. And now one of my clients also stalled for months despite having his macros being perfect. Now, when it came to him, like we didn't actually change his calories, we just changed where those calories were coming from. So we changed his carb source, his fiber intake, and his micronutrient density. Now, within weeks of doing this, his energy improved, cravings dropped, and fat loss restarted. And now this is why calories do matter, but food quality determines how sustainable fat loss actually is. So to wrap up this video, here's the truth that nobody wants to say. Most people don't fail because they lack discipline. They fail because cheat meals teach them to binge, and low quality diets wreck hunger and recovery. Now, if you fix these two things, I guarantee you fat loss will become much simpler, muscle growth will improve, and your consistency, which is arguably the most important part when it comes to you achieving your health and fitness goals, stops feeling like willpower, and it just starts becoming a routine, a habit, a system where you no longer have to rely on your willpower or your motivation or your discipline. It's just part of your identity. It's part of who you are. Like if you guys think of me, Cohnan, like he's the guy that eats healthy. He's the guy that always eats fruits and vegetables and protein. He's the guy that runs marathons. He's the guy that does bodybuilding shows, who does high rocks, who's just physically active. Like hopefully when you think of my name, you think of fitness, health, online coach, fat loss expert, weight loss expert, because that's who I am. That is my identity. It's what I live. It's what I do every single day. It's what I talk about every single day. It's my passion. It's what I do. It's who I am, right? So if you want help building a diet that actually fits within your lifestyle, what you can go ahead and do is book a free consultation call with me down below, where we'll essentially do three things. Number one, we'll go over your current goals. We'll see exactly how much weight you're looking to lose, whether it's 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 50 pounds. We'll look at exactly what's holding you back right now, whether it's lack of structure within your diet, lack of knowledge, lack of accountability, maybe all three of them. And then lastly, we'll create a game plan together to help you absolutely crush your goals in the next 3 to 6 months. Now, if that sounds good to you, once again, the link will be in the description down below, and I'll see y'all there. Peace.